Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan. I am Manzoorul Haq, moderator of this very important event today. And let me first introduce the people sitting at the head table. There are two speakers today. And next to me is Mr. Akihiro Shima, who is an attorney at law, who is on behalf of this plaintiff. He is representing at the court. And next to Mr. Shima is Mr. Choi, Songkoo Choi, who is the main plaintiff of this lawsuit. And at the extreme right is Mr. Masaaki Fukunaga, who is the senior vice president of the club. And with the anniversary of this 3/11 disaster, the nuclear issue is once again at the forefront of discussion. And today, at this press conference, the people will be speaking about the lawsuit. They have filed 2 lawsuits against nuclear technology suppliers, asking for compensation and also the responsibility of this Fukushima disaster. And second lawsuit was filed just day before yesterday, on 10th of this month. And it's quite amazing that plaintiffs are from various countries. They are from this NPP signing countries, non-NPP countries, and overall in the first lawsuit there are 1,415 plaintiffs, and the second one 2,720, and they come from various countries: United States and UK, Switzerland, and developing countries like India, Philippines, Indonesia, even Mongolia, and in various countries, and they are asking for this compensation and also responsibility. And lawsuit is against 3 providers: General Electric, Hitachi, and Toshiba, which provided the nuclear reactors of the Fukushima Daiichi plant. And you probably all know that all these 3 suppliers, they are now actively pushing to developing countries to export the technology of death, which they consider in their own countries dangerous, now actively pursuing to sell to developing countries where there is a need for energy. But this lawsuit doesn't cover those. But today's, I'll not extend my introduction, and I'll first invite Mr. Akihiro Shima to speak from the legal point of view, and this will be followed by Mr. Choi. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to today's speakers. And Mr. Shima, please, yes. Please.
Yeah, thank you. I am Akihiro Shima, representative of attorney's team for Reactor suppliers lawsuit. And I'd like to speak about the background of this lawsuit and overview of legal theories. First, I'll talk about measures safeguarding the nuclear power regime around the world. Under circumstances of the occurrence of a nuclear accident, entities subjected to liability of damage are assumed to consist of the government, the reactor suppliers, and the utility company in charge of the power station. However, under Japan's Act on Compensation for Nuclear Damage, only liable party will be nuclear operators, and other parties are exempt from liabilities. Act 3 and 4, as illustrated on the handout. In context, the nuclear operator represent a power company. Such legal channeling stipulated in the Act is contribute to the sound development of the nuclear industry as started in Section 1. This clearly shows the implication that the legal system itself is advocating nuclear energy. The statute excludes the makers of nuclear technology of any accountability. Expansion of the nuclear industry continues worldwide. particularly in the Asian regions. Furthermore, people suffering from nuclear damage can only claim compensation from the power company, which is, in this case, Tokyo Electric Power Company, TEPCO. If the damages exceed predetermined amount of money, the Japanese government will aid such a power company. The predetermined amount of money is only 120 billion yen. Reimbursements will be paid from funds via electricity charges and tax. In other words, money by the public is to be channeled to nuclear damage compensations. This allows nuclear suppliers to simply concentrate on its economic activities and gains while being completely excused from any responsibilities concerning their products. We can conclude that only a power company is liable, intending to create the nuclear power regime. With all things considered, the system of legal channeling prescribed in the Act brings about an extremely irrational situation in which the supplier has no role whatsoever, nor subjected to criticisms at home or abroad. Second, I'll talk about filing the lawsuit against nuclear suppliers on the basis of legal theories. We filed the lawsuit in which plaintiffs made up of people from all over the world will claim 100 yen per person for compensation of mental anguish on the premise that the legal channeling system is unconstitutional. The main issue of the lawsuit does not reside in the amount of compensation, but the outcome of addressing the exemption of manufacturers from legal responsibility. In court, the plaintiff attorneys will argue that the infringement of no-nukes rights to live free from fear of nuclear power. These rights are derived from the Japanese Constitution, the right to pursuit of happiness guaranteed by Article 13, and the right to maintain the minimum standards of wholesome and cultured living by Article 25. Besides the arguments based upon unconstitutionality, the plaintiff attorneys will also argue the manufacturer's products liability, negligence, as well as the rights of recourse prescribed in Act 5 on the handout. Referring to the Act, willful neglect of a third party represents the mental states of a third party, acknowledging the probability of a nuclear accident occurring, while disregarding the likelihood despite the defects with the Mark I containments. That has been pointed out in the 1970s. Then who can be certain that those reactor suppliers who built up those containments were ignorant of possibilities of future accidents involving such faults already pointed out? Finally, to send out a strong message in hopes of a fair trial with conscience in court, we called out to people from all over the world to join us and become plaintiffs of this lawsuit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shima. We'll go to Q&A after the second speaker. Now, I'd ask Mr. Songkoo Choi, Secretary General of No News Action, to speak about the reaction on this lawsuit, public reaction about this lawsuit, how the people looking at it, and how they are gaining support from not only from Japan, in other countries as well. Yes, Mr. Choi, please.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Choi, SK Choi, Secretary General of Suppliers Lawsuit Plaintiffs Team. We are so glad to meet you in here. We didn't expect so many people to come here. The day after the March 10th, we had the secondary lawsuit in the local press room, and then there we had only three or four people came to us. So we're afraid today's press conference will be canceled because but we're so glad to meet you like this. Thank you very much. We are in charge for expanding our activities of anti-nuclear power plants all over the world. We think that we should make it clear from Japan, who had suffered from the Fukushima disaster, to sentence no restart of NPP, nuclear power plants, and no export of NPP. I want to introduce you what we have done so far to make the international solidarity actions. Please look at the pictures, but it takes 1 hour. So I'm afraid you can see very short time, 1 second or 2 seconds for one picture. This is in Japan, Korea, Mongolia, and in Japan we had the press conference together. This is in Yokohama, the international conference there. This is the meeting. We invited Selenge from Mongolia. She used to be the leader of Green Party. She's actually actor in Mongolia. This is the picture, you know, the northern part of Japan, Aomori. So this is the memorial tree planting. We had the Shimokita study tour. There we had 50 members, and 10 from Korea and 1 from Geneva. He works for WCC, World Council of Churches. And this is the parade in Hakodate. So we're going to go to Hakodate next month to have the joint meeting, because they were going to sue the mayor of Hakodate will sue the OMA. So this is the meeting, NNA, No Nukes Asia Actions. We made it in the press conference we did at the Shinanomachi Church in Tokyo. Can you see the flag is very small, but this is against Hitachi. So one of them who hang the panel is the worker of Hitachi. He's working in Hitachi still now. He's against the NPPs of Hitachi. So he sent the message to his CEO and the president to stop it. This is in Hokkaido. This we have in Korea. Yonggwang. It is a very, how can I say, we have to pay attention to their activities in Korea. This is Miriam. as you know, this is the symbol of the Korea right now. Many people get together, and then the people living there, anytime they're going to commit suicide, once the police comes in, they prepare for it. This is in front of the Korea nuclear power plant, which is located at very near from Busan, 18 kilometers. This is the Samcheok, the Japanese sea located at the East Sea. Samcheok is also, we have to pay attention to it. They had won 2 times against the NPP, but the new lawyer decided to start it. So next year they're going to have the election, the 4th time. So they have the monumental nuclear power monument to victory in nuclear power because they won 2 times. And then once they failed to vote the mayor, he is going to rebuild. So next year, as explained, this is the 4th struggle, so they have to win it. But President Park is going to build it, no doubt. So we have to wait and see. This is the Kyushu. So from Korea, 10 persons came to Japan. So we introduced them, the Genkai and the Fukui and Fukushima. This is the, we gathered in front of the Kyushu Denryoku. This is Genkai. Just the opposite side is Korea. So 10 people came from Korea. So this is the beautiful Iwaishima, Seto Naikai. We call it Japanese Mediterranean Sea. So we explain to the Americans or European people why the NPP in Mediterranean Sea in Japan. So they did not give up. So they're going to set up. This is the exchange meeting in Kobe. Fukushima, Sendai. So this you can see the because of the tsunami, no buildings at all. We had the meeting in Tokyo to establish, to start the lawsuit. Many people came. This is the young guy, right, left-hand side, came from Iwaishima. He originally lived in Tokyo, but he decided to live in Iwaishima. And then this is the stage of WCC, General WCC conference held on Busan last summer, September. So I translated it to him. We had the press conference in Taiwan, January. So they understood what we are doing, and they found that they have the same law in Taiwan, the act of compensation for nuclear damage, and in Korea, in Taiwan, they had the same act as we do in Japan. So we found out all over the world they have the same law or act. So that was the Green Party people. We had a meeting there. I went to Taiwan, Philippines. The ladies are working in Bataan. Bataan is very famous in Philippines because they won. They won, and to stop it, they abolished the NPP in Philippines. So you can see it, the Bataan power plant. So we can see it. We can visit. We can see the inside it. Here's the Catholic. What can I say? Not the pastor. What do you say? Catholic father. Yes, he is the very famous guy in the Bataan struggle. So I was introduced to him. this is Indonesia. So I asked the coordinator to meet and have the meeting with the Indonesian people where they succeeded to stop the NPP plan. So there, 100 people got together and we discussed a lot. And we explained why we started lawsuit. So they understood it very much. 100 people came together. This is I met the guy in Germany, Bund. He's a very famous organization in Germany. And then I met several, I visited 4 cities in Germany, and the Koreans in Germany and Japanese in Germany, and then so many people I met. And we promised to continue the struggle with us. And then I can see it. This is from Reactor. The day before yesterday, we had the secondary lawsuit at the Tokyo District Court, and then the Reactor made the film on 5 minutes news, and they spread all over the world. So we're going to gather 1 million supporters from all over the world of our lawsuit. So thanks for your cooperation. International Solidarity Action Plans we have right now. I will introduce 2 things. One is 1 million signature campaign in the world. And the second, No Nukes Asia Forum 2014 in September in Taipei. So, which is the very important forum. So I will explain later, okay? Okay, so as you saw in the final picture like this, our action plan at this moment are 2. I explain later. As we have seen the pictures so far, I have visited Mongolia, Korea, Taiwan, Philippines, Indonesia, and Germany. And our commemorated, I visited India, Canada, Cuba, and the USA to make the international solidarity actions of anti-nuclear power plants. In these countries and the areas, many people became the plaintiff of our lawsuit. WCC, the World Council of Churches, will decide to cooperate with us this lawsuit soon in July in Geneva. Why not the builders of NPP are responsible for the accident? We found that it is because of the Act of Compensation for Nuclear Damage, which was forced to make in Japan by the Japanese government, by the American government, when the GE had exported the first NPP to Japan in early 1960s. This fact is not well known in Japan. Most of the Japanese people do not know that Hitachi and Toshiba and GE are the builders of Fukushima Daiichi. They think Hitachi and Toshiba are just electric enterprises. Now we know that the act or the law which make it clear that the only operators are liable for the damage, not the builders at all. They are enacted not only in Japan, but all over the world. It shows that this act or the law are enacted by the structure of the world. We oppose the nuclear weapons and nuclear power plants, and we have to cooperate each other in the world, especially whole Asia, to break the structure of the world for the human being to survive. We think that it will be possible by the people's power. Also, it will be possible by the international solidarity actions. This is our purpose. As you saw in the final picture, our actions plan at the moment are 2. One is to gather the 1 million supporters over a lawsuit by signature campaign in the world. The other second one is to hold New Nukes Asia Forum 2014 in September in Taipei, which aims to stop the first critical test using uranium and abolish the number 4 NPP located very near Taipei, with the Taiwan people struggling for it. Do you know that number 4 NPP in Taiwan are the same reactors with the Fukushima Daiichi? They are the first exports from Japan. That's why we have to co-work with them. We have to show our solidarity to them, and we have to support them. The victory to abolish number 4 NPP will influence the whole world. Turkey, Poland, Lithuania, Vietnam, and Finland, which have not decided yet, and the other countries which are going to build NPP will face to the big opposition of people's power and have to give it up. We really appreciate your cooperation to spread the true news all over the world, to make the people know the truth in the world, what's going on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Choi. Floor is open now, ladies and gentlemen. First, you raise your hand. When you identify, you come forward. But before that, there is a small announcement for Japanese journalists. Our notice indicated that there will be interpretation. But since the speakers were speaking in English, we didn't give any interpretation support here. So if Japanese speakers would like to talk to them after the press conference, please feel free to talk to our speakers. Yes, please, Christoph first, and then Todd. Please identify yourself and who you are asked to address the question also mention, please.
Süddeutsche Zeitung, Germany, Neidhardt. The Japanese law system is very reliable in one way. At the end, when it comes to the Supreme Court, the decision always goes in favor of either the government or the powerful organizations, such as TEPCO or whatever. So what's your chance that you win a lawsuit here? Is it not close to nil? And if Apple sues Samsung, they do it in very many countries. So would it make sense to sue GA and the other 2 Japanese companies in other countries as well? Thanks.
You need his comment? Okay. それで勝てる可能性がどのように持ってますかと。で、私自身は GE 含めた人の裁判を起こすのは大変意義があると思いますね。勝てると思いますかと。それ日本の裁判そのものが政府よりの判決ばっかりなのに。
ここでもらっていいですか？いや、ここでもらっていいですか？
そう、あなたがここで。
とりあえず日本語でいいですね。非常に困難な裁判であるということは間違いないし、それから日本の裁判所がですね、公正な裁判をあまり期待できないということは事実だと思います。
Okay, it is, as you explained, it's very hard, and we cannot expect so much the Japanese court system right now.
しかしまずはですね、原発に関しては日本の裁判、今まで数十の裁判が行われてきて、2つだけ勝った裁判があるんですね、原発の裁判で。しかし結果的にはすべての原発の稼働を許してきたのが日本の裁判所ということが言えるわけです。
Okay, so far they have so many trials about the nuclear power plants, but only 2 won, but others lost it. But actually the result admit the reactors, operating. We failed so far.
今回の福島の事故に関してはですね、裁判所は大きな責任を負っているというふうに裁判所自身も考えているということは間違いないと思います。
The court itself thinks it is very important. They're responsible for this Fukushima issues.
そういった意味でもですね、今この時期においては裁判所はある程度原発の問題を、特に原発の問題に関してはですね、 公正な裁判をしなければいけないというふうな自覚というものも持っているというふうに、期待をしています。
We expect that the court itself are conscious about that they have to make the very fair judgment.
またそれだけではなくてですね、裁判官の背中を押すというか、裁判官を勇気づけるために我々は世界中の人たちがこの裁判に強い関心を持っているんだというメッセージを届けるためにこのような裁判の仕方を考えたというわけです。
So we thought this, way of this lawsuit to push the back of the judge to make the fair judgment, and then the many people in the world will push them too. So we needed their support from all over the world.
ですから僕らはですね、この裁判は単なるなんていうのかな、裁判をやることに意義があるということではなくて、しっかりとした成果を得ようというふうに考えていますし、それは可能なことだというふうに考えています。
We think it is possible to win, and then not only to start the lawsuit, file the lawsuit, but we have to win it. So I think it is possible to win.
Do you sue in other countries?
Yeah, in other countries. Are you going to the court in other countries?
Okay. We suppose it because we start in Japan, so we expect in other countries will file the same things. Okay.
My name is Crowell with Nuclear Intelligence Weekly in New York. How confident, Mr. Shima, how confident are you that you'll even have a trial and your lawsuit won't be just categorically dismissed before going to trial? And second, how can somebody in Tanzania claim to have mental anguish for nuclear power plants that are not built in her country and not even dreamed of in her country? How can she be a plaintiff in this lawsuit?
最初のはどれぐらい自信がありますかということですよね。で2番目は
How confident that the lawsuit will be dismissed before going to the court?
before the court.
Before the main procedure will dismiss. Are you confident that it will not be dismissed?
他の国ではそれやらなかったのに、我々今回初めてやるわけで、それに自信というのはやる前にありますかという。
確かにそのどっち。
本当。Is that the same question? I mean the number one. You asked me the two things.
Really expect that this lawsuit will go to trial.
訴状が
First you file
つ
the
けられ
court
て
case and then it goes to
本
trial.
格的な審理になるというふうに理解されているか予想されているかどうかということですね。まず第一なんです。
Okay.
一つ目はね。
二つ目なんですか。The second thing? Second question.
Other countries like
About
African countries,
Tanzania?
they don't have
How
anything
can
to
you
do.
have, as a plaintiff,
つまり外国の原告というのはどういうふうに
how can
そ
you
の
claim
関与する
mental
か。
anguish
はいはい。
要するにその原発も何も
damages for against when they're living in a country that has no nuclear power or even thinking about it?
Okay, I got you. Okay.
要するにない国の人たちがなんでそういうふうな精神
そう
を
ここに名前、
はい
国の名で
そうですね。
は
はい。Okay.
まず一つ目に関しては、今回はですね、その先ほどの責任集中が要するにリーガルチャネリングですねが違憲で無効であることを前提とした請求が中心になっていますけども、責任集中があったとしてもその現売法自体を目的とした法律構成の請求も立てていると先ほど説明をしましたがやっているのでね。
Okay, we have the two principles. One is against the Constitution, but not only that, we have another way of suing them. That is against the compensation, the actual compensation of nuclear damage itself. So we have the plan. We can use this law too. 現売法まで使いますという話までしました。
ですからその憲法の問題憲法をクリアしなければいけない請求だけであれば裁判所はもう 1回や2回で終わらせるということもありえますけども、今回はそうじゃないという請求の立て方を現売法自体にも基づく請求を立てているので、裁判所はしっかりとした中身の審理を少なくともある程度はしないわけにはいかないと思っています。
So we have the strategy. One is against the Constitution, but one is Constitution. The other is the damage, the actual compensation of nuclear damage. And then if we insist on the Constitution, maybe the Supreme Court or the court district will reject us once or two times. But we use the compensation law, I mean the actual compensation for on nuclear damage, so that they cannot reject us. We have to argue, because we have that is our strategy. We have to make it longer. Okay. Countries 関係ない国がどうして、原告になってますか。
はい、まず一つはなぜそういうことをしたのかというと、今回の裁判に、世界中の人たちが参加できるようなその正義の立て方をしようというふうに考えたことがまずきっかけです。
We discussed and thought how we can gather the people all over the world, as many as possible. Okay.
だからこそ請求金額をその精神的損害メンタルアグイッシュですかの100円のみにしました。まずはですね。
So that's why one thing is the total money is only 100 yen, $1, even if we win. So we don't have to worry about, we don't have to discuss the amount of the compensation.
でその根拠としては、日本の福島第一原発のかつてない大きな爆発のですね状況を瞬時にして世界中に配信されたと、それを見て、精神的に損害を生じたと、そのミニマムな部分を捉えて100円としたわけです。
So that anyone who saw the disaster in Fukushima by TV and had the mental shock, mental disease we call it, mental damage. So those who got the mental damage by seeing it, they can be the plaintiff.
で確かにその原発がもう全く関係ないと、遠い離れた国で原発が全くそこの予定もされてない、設置もされてない国の人たちがそのような精神的損害をショックを受けるかということに対しては疑問を感じる人もいるかもしれません。
So some people may doubt that those who are living very far from Fukushima can understand that they can get the mental damage or not.
しかし今回の原告の中にはもちろん福島の方もいらっしゃるし、さまざまなもう少なくとも大きなですね損害を発生している人がたくさん含まれていますから、裁判所がわざわざそのような人たちの部分をですね取り上げて、この人にそんな損害はないだろうということでそこを争点にするということは考えられません。ですからそこは僕らは問題なくクリアできると思っています。
So we categorize 5 countries in our plaintiffs. So Fukushima, Tokyo, and then other area, and then those who have the NPP, and the number 5 is don't have any NPP. But we don't think the judge court would eliminate the last one. So they have to discuss together. So that we don't think they will eliminate the 5th group. 5th group is, as I say, Tanzania, or they don't have any NPPs. But we thought they are still got the mental damage by seeing it.
Okay, floor is open again. Yes, please.
I am Daniel Eskenazi, freelance from Switzerland. The authorities of Namie want to get the same support than the victims of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Do you think you can help them, or you can join to your movement to the authorities of Namie, so maybe to reinforce your structure and your lawsuit?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Among our plaintiffs, those coming from Fukushima or who escaped from Fukushima, they belong to us. And then they will think that this lawsuit is very, very deep because, we found that the wide whole country have the same law or same act to, eliminate the NPP makers. So we thought that's only because the word, some structure made that way. It has connected with NPT system regime. So that means our lawsuit has concerned with the victims of atomic bombs too. So whole connected. So our lawsuit will rethink about the history itself after the war. What happened to Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and what about their victims, how they're living right now. And then not only the victims, the whole people will be the victim in the future because of the radioactivity. So we want to expand our supporters all over the world, including Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and the Fukushima too. Is that enough for you, or?
Or any concrete with Minami Soma City?
Yeah, you have any contact with
Oh, yes, of course.
Minami,
Yes, we do. Yes. So we're going to have the meeting soon. Not decided yet.
Yes, next. Floor is open again. Yes, please, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Will you please come forward and introduce yourself first?
Thank you very much. I enjoyed your presentation. My name is Khalil Hassan. I'm Ambassador of Bahrain. I am originally a medical doctor. I was a surgeon, and I was Minister of Health. Now, an important question. When legal issue involved in healthcare, it changes completely the healthcare. Like United States, now they spend around 19% of their budget, GDP, on healthcare. But what they get from this healthcare is less than what Japan get, where they spend around 8% of GDP. My question is, these legal issues can get very complicated and become at the end very costly. My question is, did you think about the sequence of this? If you win this case, what will affect the legal issues of Japan industry as a whole, or Japan community as a whole? Do you like to have a model like American model in legal issues? Thank you, sir.
Many people ask us the same questions to us. What is the result if we win? But once we win this lawsuit, the sufferers who suffered from the Fukushima disaster can require the money from the makers. So now the act eliminates the makers, means they are free, so that they freely export to foreign countries, in spite of the 311. So the influence of our result, or the influence of our lawsuit itself, is very, very important, because the world system, the structure of the world, made such kind of system, but they will be influenced. They cannot export anymore. Once they face to the disasters, they have to pay. They are not ready to pay. So we don't know. But if we win, we say this act itself is against the Constitution. So, which means this act is invalid, according to, if we win, So it will influence the American law or any other laws in the whole countries. So we don't know yet how they can change or how we can change in Japan too, either. But it will influence a lot, more than your expectation. The people who have the power or countries, they will be very afraid of our lawsuit. Is that enough? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the issue itself is very good. Yes,
Okay.
start. Next question.
Sorry again. You probably know that in 2010, India adopted a law that made suppliers liable for accidents. It's one of the impediments for Japan exporting reactors to India. Are you trying to copy the Indian example?
Unfortunately, we have the specialist from India beside me, so Mr. Fukunaga will explain it. Is that okay for you? Okay.
Yes, India has a very strong act for import of the nuclear reactors from other countries. Due to this issue, for the last several years, negotiation with USA and French as countries has deadlocked. And USA has just now trying to other sidestep to make one new international agreement, which already 4 countries are signed. And Japan has strongly recommended to sign it from Japan, US. If it will be realized, India will be very change the position about this legal status in India itself. Thank you.
Yes, we have time for
Few other questions, and I would like to fill up the gap that Mr. Choi, you have collected signatures from almost 40 countries.
Yes.
Latin America, Africa, Asia, of course, Europe. How did you collect those? And do you have any contact with these people?
Okay, it's secret. Anyway, we attended the last September WCC, World Council of Churches, General Council in Busan. 170 countries and 5,000 people came to attend it. And there we appealed, our lawsuit. And we asked them, why not cooperate with us? So as I mentioned in my speech, I expect a lot. They're going to have the committee in Geneva in June, Central Committee. And then once they adopt the statement, the nuclear weapons and the nuclear power plants are the same. If they adopt the sentence, they have to adopt the action plans, the actual ones. So once they adopt it, I think we will work together with them. So because of the charge. And this time I went to Indonesia. There, not only Christians, but Muslim people, 50 persons came from all over Indonesia. So we call it ecumenical in our church. But anyway, it means not only Christians, but usual people, Islam, any persons with any religions, we can work together. So I think we can do it.
any other questions? Yes.
Gentleman over there.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm Colin Morshed from the New York Times. I was hoping that you could expand on how, if at all, you plan to involve utilities companies like TEPCO or their workers, and if you see potential allies in those people.
Within those companies.
Within those companies and their workers who have been affected, yes.
現場の労働者はこの裁判でどういう影響を受けると思いますか。テプコとか。
直接はもちろん直接関係ないんで、すぐにねこの裁判によって影響を受けるっていうことはまずはないですよね。
Okay. First, they will not influence at the first stage, not directly.
ただ例えばですね、今現場の、除染も含めしている人たちも含めですね、非常にたくさんの、3次受け4次受けという形で間にたくさんの企業が入って、搾取されているという状況にまずあるわけです。
As you know, in Japan, they have the fourth, the fifth, the fifth subsidiary. They have the layers, from TEPCO. Okay.
でそういうふうなものも含めてですね、賠償という大きな枠組みの中でそういうお金の流れがですね非常に不透明になっていて、それがそういう労働環境を生んでいるという部分は一つにあると思うんですね。
So the money system is is not parent, very very complicated. So which makes the labor's the right cannot be guaranteed because at the layers, so many companies will get the money from them.
そういう部分とですね、あとはその原発のその事故を実際のですね、今の原発のその構造であったりとかですね、要するに原発のサイト内の状況とか、そういうものも中の状況も非常に不透明になっているという状況もあるわけです。
So we don't know the exact situation inside of the NPP.
でこの裁判の中では今まで全く要するに国や東電がですねひた隠しにしようとしていたもの、そういうふうな中の状況についても裁判の手続きを通してですねいろんなものを開示させるということも考えています。
So we're going to ask them, the Toden, TEPCO, and the government to open the whole information, which so far they had tried to hide.
ですから責任の主体を明らかにする中で責任のその事故の原因であったりとかですね、あるいはお金を払わなければいけない責任を負うべき主体、そういうものをですね全て明らかにしていくことによって間接的にいろんな影響が生まれていくことを期待しています。
So we expect indirect influence because of the money system or who are responsible about this accident. And then the makers are responsible or not. So we want to sue them. I mean, we want to ask them to open the whole data. So far they have tried to hide. So which will influence for the labor's right itself, the system itself.
Okay, Christoph, one more question.
Süddeutsche Zeitung again. I'd like to really question your choice of so many plaintiffs. There was this case Eto against the state, and Eto is based in Tokyo, and he sued against the Article 25 in the Constitution that the government didn't. I think both articles, 13 and 25 in the Constitution. And this case it went to trial and then it was thrown out because he was not in Fukushima, not close to the power plant, but in Tokyo. Now you have plaintiffs from all over the world. That even weakens your case. Why don't you focus on some people who really suffered some damage? Again, then you have a lawsuit too against these suppliers. And a second question: when you go to Korea and ask people, they say there is no anti-nuclear movement. Then I went to Busan, to exactly that church where the WCC met. Even in that church, the people say, yeah, they were here, but we don't know anything about that movement. Aren't you too optimistic?
Okay. So I think you better understand, lawyer Shima explained that we thought that in order to gather it all over the world, because we thought that they might have the mental damage seeing this disaster. And we have so many cases in Japan already. So that's why our purpose is to expand our movement. So as explained, the other side of the earth, they have nothing to do with the disaster, people say. But we say, okay, they got the mental damage by saying it. Who is responsible for it? The makers. You're responsible too. That is our purpose, to sue them. Okay, and then also just $1 to get money. And the second one is, as you saw it in Busan, many Christians are very conservative, very, very. Not only Catholic, but Protestants, but among them, some people are very, very relative. I mean, liberal, and they got the experience of in Korea, the democratic, the revolution door. So they have very liberal ideas how to go to the world. So we call it ecumenical movements with other religions or the usual people. And our purpose is, to abolish the nuclear weapons and the nuclear power plants. And in order to do it, we will shake hands with anybody. So this, not many, but few people understand it.
Okay. Christoph, yes.
Yeah, I'd like
and then. Is it okay with
To me, it seems you are mixing up two things. You want to strengthen the movement, and you're having a lawsuit. Now, I understand the laws. If you use the lawsuit to strengthen the movement, you weaken the lawsuit, so you will lose. And if you lose a lawsuit, this is considered, at the end of the day, a loss of the movement. So I just don't understand your tactic.
Okay, this was just a comment. And one more question we can entertain. You want to ask? Okay. You have question? Okay. This is the last question we have today, yes.
レーバーネット TV の寺島です。精神的損害で訴訟するという大きな土台があるのですが、今までの歴史ではそういう訴訟はなかったんです。そういう意味では、門前払いというか、その可能性もあるかもしれないです。分かりません。ですから、この放射能の危険についてのショック、これを特別な手立てというか、押し込むというか、論理立てが必要に思います。要するに、いわゆるテレビで報道されたものに全てじゃあ精神的障害があるのかっていう、広く言えばそういう問題になるのですが、この放射能については、例えば拡散して世界中に行くっていうことも含めて特別なことが必要に思います。その点でお考えをお聞かせください。
So if you just briefly explain what was the question.
Okay. So we explained we sued the NPP makers, saying that we will get the mental disease, mental damage. But this is the first case in the world, in Japan. So if the mental damage, we prove it, so anything can be, anybody can do it. So he asked me, how do you think about our lawsuit, thinking about the influence, the mental damage?
そういうことはもちろん最初に考えました。で、そういうことがないようにですね、最初は福島の方々をこの裁判に巻き込むというのは少しどうなのかなという思いがあったんですが、そこのところを考えてですね、福島の方々に裁判に加わることにしました。その理由をまた説明します。
Okay, so we thought the question before we sue, and then first of all, we hesitate to involve the Fukushima people, but we decided to improve them. Okay,
つまりこの裁判は請求するのは精神的損害100円分だけですが、その他福島の方々をはじめですね、さまざまな関東も東北の方もですね、さまざまな財産的損害も含めたいろんな損害があるうちのそのうちのごく一部だけを請求しますよというそういう裁判なわけです。
Okay, this mental disease, mental damage, we require money, but that is only one part of it. So, for example, those who live in Tokyo or other areas, because of that disaster, many people lost the money and so many things. So 100 yen we will require, but which means we don't want to the amount of the money, but we just want to make it clear whether the makers, suppliers of NPPs are responsible or not. This is our purpose.
ですからその仮に先ほどのタンザニアの方とかですね、この人たちにそんな損害があるのかという話になって、その一部の人たちを門前払いにしたとしても必ず残る人たちがいるわけですから、わざわざ裁判所がですね、そこのところ時間をかけて一部の人を排除して、で残りの人だけ裁判やっていこうということをすることはありえないので、そこは最終的には争点にならないというふうに考えています。それはうまくいくと思います。
So as I explained last time, we have the 5 groups. The last group, fifth group is like you said, Tanzania or South America, which is very far from Japan. People might say it has nothing to do with the disaster, but we think the court will not eliminate the fifth group only because of just 100 yen. So even if they eliminate the fifth group, we have to discuss the process of the lawsuit. And I will explain to you, on the process of lawsuit, you said once we lose the court, it might influence the movement itself. But among the process of the lawsuit, we will improve the many things. For example, the government and then the TEPCO and the NPP builders, they knew that GE Mark I is very, very dangerous in 1976 already, because they witnessed this in the American, diet already. And in the tsunami, the earthquake, they had already the size of this size will come. They had the information already. And then as far as the parts of the NPP, we have the evidence, many evidences. So, and then we also required the new data, which is so far they have the hidden. So, on the way of this process, we can make it clear many things, and then so that we think, even if we don't think we lose, we have to win, and it's not Olympic Games, we have to win. The many people think, reading our paper, many people think we might win. So please read our papers. We will translate whole paper into English soon. So you will be convinced that we will win.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have come to the end of our allocated time. And here we end today's press conference. Thank you for joining. And thank you, Mr. Choi and other speakers. Akira-san, thank you very much. Shima-san.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Here we end today's